When Michael Malone got fired, the entire NBA froze. Shockwaves rippled everywhere. Well, everywhere except inside the Nuggets locker room, where players had been waiting for this moment like a ticking time bomb finally exploding. They were done pretending everything was normal, and the red flags had been screaming at us the whole time. With Malone unraveling in front of cameras, losing control on every sideline meltdown. Michael Malone, he is hot, screaming at officials again. But that was only the start of the downfall, because the real reason he was pushed out was darker than anyone expected, and the players wanted it. What were they hiding? Some whispered he played favorites, holding Russell Westbrook to impossible standards while letting others slide. And when a locker room starts picking sides, war isn't far away, which is exactly why the Nuggets players themselves pulled the plug on their head coach, launching a silent mutiny. Who led the rebellion? April 8, 2025, was loaded with headlines. Oklahoma City Thunder shattered a 50-year NBA record with their 51st double-digit win. Luka Doncic torched 45 points in Dallas. And just as fans caught their breath, boom, Denver dropped the loudest bomb, firing Malone and refusing to extend GM Calvin Booth, fourth in the West with a 47-32 record. Far from a catastrophic collapse, yet the axe fell hard. Less than 2 years after Malone delivered Denver its first NBA championship in 2023, why cut loose a champion and why now? Shaquille O'Neal on TNT voiced disbelief, questioning why a winningest coach with a title shot and home court advantage was suddenly gone, while Nuggets governor Josh Kroenke offered only cryptic words. Sometimes wins can mask issues, but what issues? What was festering beneath that polished record? The truth came from Nikola Jokic, the three-time MVP, who revealed he knew in advance. I'm not going to say what Josh told me, but yes, I knew a little bit before everybody. It wasn't a discussion, it was a decision. He told me why, and I accepted it. Words hitting like a freight train, confirming the franchise player approved the firing silently. A superstar's quiet acceptance speaking volumes. But what was so powerful it silenced him? Jokic wasn't done. When asked how the team atmosphere shifted post-Malone, he said bluntly, definitely changed. If you want to change something, that's how you do it. The owner wanted to do it. So, it happens, a matter-of-fact tone exposing a fractured vibe and broken family bond, hinting at chaos brewing under the previous leadership. Insiders confirmed multiple key players had lost faith in Malone. The locker room tuned him out, his message dead on arrival, especially after publicly blasting effort and engagement during pressers, with one of his final statements boiling over. My job is to be honest. Some guys won't hear it. They'll say, "Coach is tripping." And the guys who actually care, they know what I mean. Malone was fighting ghosts while the team wasn't listening, thinking he was motivating them when the players felt betrayed. And that's exactly when everything truly fell apart. Minutes ticked by. Nobody watched film. Malone's exasperation was palpable. "We'll have to show them the film, and if somebody disagrees with me, speak up," he said, but nobody said a word. Each player was left to stare in the mirror, confront themselves, and face the reality that they weren't bringing the right mindset or pride to each game. Candace Parker highlighted the weight of that silence. A locker room that shouts, debates, fights, and argues. That's a team alive and willing to fix things. A quiet locker room where nobody speaks up? That's frightening. That silence was the hallmark of a team that had mentally checked out. According to Yard Barker, resentment grew as Malone was perceived to favor certain stars, giving Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray lighter scrutiny during film sessions while role players faced relentless criticism, creating a double standard that strained chemistry. Even Jokic, the selfless MVP, found himself in an awkward position, benefiting from favoritism but seeing the tension it sparked. Malone's preferential treatment extended to Russell Westbrook, despite his declining play at 36, adding to the locker room friction. A late March Minnesota Timberwolves game became a breaking point. After holding a 20-point lead at home, the Nuggets imploded, marking their sixth consecutive loss to Minnesota under former Nuggets GM Tim Connolly, shattering any remaining faith in Malone's leadership. Beyond relationships, basketball-specific failures fueled frustration. Defensive collapses, questionable rotations, and tactical rigidity plagued the team. From 8th to 20th in defensive rating since their 2023 championship, The Nuggets' defense crumbled despite Jokic's MVP-level efforts. Departures of key defenders like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown mattered, but players questioned Malone's inability to adapt schemes. Jokic's visible sideline frustration during a four-game losing streak reflected these concerns, screaming at teammates despite his calm demeanor, signaling serious alarm. Jamal Murray's hamstring issues and inconsistent communication about recovery compounded the tension. Malone's repeated public critiques, saying, "We've got to raise our compete level," had lost impact. His voice had gone stale after nearly a decade, even with a championship core in place. Malone's fiery sideline outbursts, historically protective of Jokic, had crossed the line into counterproductive, culminating in the infamous November 18, 2021 incident where Malone had to be physically escorted off the court, restrained by Jokic himself. A stark role reversal. Players praised interim coach David Adelman for keeping it real and communicating simply, exposing a disconnect in Malone's approach. The dysfunction extended beyond the court. Malone and GM Calvin Booth reportedly weren't speaking, creating executive-level chaos that trickled down, leaving players caught in the middle. NBA insider Chris Broussard confirmed the toxicity. Even those wanting Malone out were shocked by the environment, a team trapped between conflicting visions, unable to fully buy into leadership. Malone's firing wasn't just about timing. It was the inevitable conclusion of a team losing faith in its coach, a culmination of fractured communication, favoritism, defensive collapse, and a locker room that had quietly mutinied, leaving one question hanging over Denver. How did a champion coach lose a locker room so completely? Win-loss records alone aren't enough to guarantee job security, and Malone's firing just 3 games before the regular season ended, while the Nuggets were still in the hunt for a top 6 seed in the West, added an almost cinematic layer of drama, a move that echoes other high-profile exits in recent years. Taylor Jenkins, for example, was let go by the Memphis Grizzlies on March 28, 2025, with the team comfortably 5th in the West at 44-29, yet a 4-game skid sealed his fate. David Blatt faced a similar scenario in 2016. Dismissed mid-season despite a 30-11 record with the Cavaliers, the best in the Eastern Conference, because the front office prioritized locker room chemistry over standings, with whispers of tension, especially with LeBron James. Adrian Griffin's January 2024 exit from the Bucks at 30-13 followed the same pattern, as defensive concerns and murmurs from Giannis Antetokounmpo prompted a sudden change despite a winning record. Malone's case hits harder. Not only did he deliver the franchise's first championship and the most wins in team history, but the timing, days before the playoffs, makes the decision feel almost reckless, sending a chilling message to the locker room. If a championship coach can be dismissed this close to the postseason, no one is untouchable. So what happens next? The uncertain future looms large. Asked how long it would take to adjust to a new coach with playoffs imminent, Jokic's response was measured, businesslike. "I think it needs to be quick, like really quick," emphasizing adaptation over emotion, a mindset likely shared by the veterans. Pressed further on how the beast of the Nuggets might respond after Malone's exit, his answer was tantalizingly cryptic. "We will see. Maybe we will see. Yeah, maybe we will see." A hint that the team could transform now that a perceived obstacle is gone. Bleacher Report adds that Jokic understood the reasoning behind the decision, recognizing the firing is necessary given his frustration over defensive breakdowns, even if he hadn't actively advocated for it, leaving one critical question hanging. Can this roster, stripped of its longtime leader, rise to the challenge and turn turmoil into opportunity as the playoffs loom? Malone's firing adds yet another intriguing layer to the Nuggets' locker room dynamics, especially with Jamal Murray, reportedly set to return from his hamstring injury just days after the coaching change, a timing that raises questions about whether the previous regime mishandled his recovery, fueling further player frustration. For younger players like Christian Braun, Julian Straw, and Peyton Watson, all draft picks GM Calvin Booth had personally invested in, Malone's exit could mean career-defining opportunities under interim coach David Adelman or whoever takes the helm permanently, creating a generational divide between established veterans, Jokic, Murray, Gordon, who achieved championship success under Malone, and younger players eager to prove themselves. The pattern of firing successful coaches mid-season is becoming disturbingly familiar. Malone became just the fourth NBA coach in history to be dismissed after winning 40-plus games, joining the likes of Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer, and Nick Nurse, all champions cut despite past glory, highlighting how quickly organizational and player perceptions can shift from celebration to irreconcilable tension. Mad Dog Russo bluntly explained why modern coaching is so fragile. You have to be in partnership with your star player, aligned like best friends. A truth underscored by Malone and Jokic's apparent disconnect, where past success couldn't protect the relationship. Nick Wright added historical perspective. Jokic's legacy hangs in the balance, judged by post-season achievements, not effort or supporting casts. For his decade-long career to match his talent, more championships are required, making the coaching change not just a tactical move, but a personal imperative for Jokic. Now, multiple futures hang over Denver. In the liberation scenario, players thrive under renewed energy and unity, turning the firing into a playoff breakthrough. In the adjustment scenario, chemistry falters, rotations feel forced, and the team fizzes prematurely, perhaps setting up a longer-term reset. The evolution scenario envisions Malone's departure catalyzing a full organizational recalibration around Jokic, including potential trades like Michael Porter Jr. to strengthen the supporting cast. And in the darkest exodus scenario, frustration grows, foundational cracks widen, and even Jokic might question the franchise's vision, risking star departures and a rebuild from the ground up. The upcoming coaching search will reveal how much players influence the next direction, whether prioritizing defensive specialists, egalitarian accountability, or the clear, direct communication style Jokic prefers. But one truth is evident. While Malone's dismissal shocked outsiders, within the locker room, it was the inevitable conclusion of months of eroding trust and basketball frustration, leaving the Nuggets' talented roster at a crossroads, ready to embrace a new chapter, however uncertain, with the playoffs looming and history watching every move.